Good evening wherever you are. So today we need to talk about something in relation to school curricula and what goes on there and the rest surrounding that. Today I think everybody who has looked at Kenyan news has not missed to see something to do with the BUTERE girls from Western region. And of course, we understand about the drama festival and nationals that were happening at Nakuru. And from yesterday, I showed you a video in which Cleophas Malala, the writer of Echoes of War, had been arrested. Now today, of course, he has been released, and we'll be watching in a moment the video about exactly what he's saying. From what I heard, he's saying that he will be going to claim for the ability to direct that play in the State House. And of course, he's saying that the president should be there. I don't know. Okay, so actually, the reason why I'm doing this reaction is out of the many outbursts that people have shared on the news after students were seeing, striking, running around, refusing to act, and then later on they were tear gassed. So of course that one was one of the incidences that did not occur very well with many parents and even other teachers elsewhere. Now people are saying, and of course Sosion, I don't know whether you heard about Sosion sharing and indicating that from Act, is it 24 of the TSC, it is clear that somebody who is not a teacher should not be engaged in activities, co-curricular involving students. That is his argument. And so he says Malala was practicing drama writing illegally. So then it's clear that many schools are practicing illegal activities because there are very few schools which use teachers and students to train or even write scripts. Most schools go for shortcuts. They'll bring in trainers. These people, either the ones who act school plays, yeah, the school plays that are, let's say, the current books that are being done by the Form 4s. So many schools go for such shortcuts, and they'll bring these people to train the students. And then students will only be accompanied by teachers from that school. And sometimes the favorite of the principal is not about TSC enrolled or whatever. Because when they talk about TSC and whatever, I don't just understand up to now. What I feel actually is that if they have to restrict, then they have to make sure that it's being practiced. Because for many years, people say that we have specific articles to be followed, but nobody actually follows it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll be interrupting this. Okay, so there was some disconnection as a result of a call that I received, a business call, so I had to, of course, attend to it. So as I was talking about these echoes of war that has really dominated the social media currently, and my concern was the question of whether other people from outside should actually come and direct plays. And my question was, do we work only as teachers? Do we only have the stakeholders within the school qualified in TSC working with the school, or do we have others? And of course, I heard Sosian talking about we normally insist on resource persons, which is illegal. I'm yet to understand this anyway, that the use of resource persons is illegal in schools. And of course, we are focusing on echoes of war and what just happened. The students being tear gassed. I'll just be showing a video here for those who missed it out. And I don't think, in fact, anybody missed out on this because it is quite almost everywhere. Yeah, so let's just see this.
Vidokezo vichache ambapo wanafunzi wa shule ya upili ya wasichana Butere wamesusia hafla ya maigizo inayoendelea katika shule ya Lions jijini Nairobi. Wanafunzi hao wamedinda kuigiza tamthilia ya Echoes of War baada ya umma kuzuiwa kuhudhuria hafla hiyo. Tamthilia hiyo inahusu masuala ya uongozi nchini. Yao imekuwa ipi?
Asante sana. Leo asubuhi wanafunzi wa shule ya wasichana ya Butere wamefika kwa shule ya msingi ya Lions hapa Nakuru na lengo la kushiriki kwenye mchezo wa kuigiza. Wamefika kufuatia amri ya mahakama kuu iliyokaa kule Nyamira. Mahakama kuu ilisema kwamba wanafunzi hawa waweze kufika pamoja na walimu wao na mwelekezi wao wa mchezo ili aweze kuwaelekeza na waweze kutumbuiza taifa kwenye tamasha za kitaifa za kuigiza. Lakini walipofika, tofauti na siku nyingine, leo waandalizi walikuwa wamejiandaa kuanzisha ratiba mwendo wa saa 12:30 walipotaka wasichana hawa waweze kufika kwenye stage ili waperform. Lakini wakati walipofika stage, hatukuwa na vile vifaa maalum vya kuwasaidia kwenye mchezo wa kuigiza kama desturi ya mchezo huo. Kwa mfano, hatukuwa na yale mapambo kwenye lugha ya Kimombo deco, hatukuwa na vile vitoa sauti sound system, hatukuwa na costumes, yale mavazi ambayo wanapaswa kuyavaa wanapoigiza. Wanafunzi wale hawakuwa na hivyo vyote kwa sababu gari lao lilizuiliwa kuingia. Gari lililokuwa na hivyo vifaa lilizuiliwa kuingia. Wakauliza kwamba waruhusiwe kucheza pindi tu wanapopata hivyo vifaa. Ilipofika saa 1:30 vifaa hivyo vilikuwa havijafika. Saa 2 kamili wakalazimishwa kuigiza bila ya hivyo vifaa, licha ya kwamba ratiba kamili huanza saa 2:30. Kwa hivyo ilipofika saa 2:30 na
leo aweze kufikia timu yake kuwatayarisha, kuandaa kwa mechi ya leo. Jana amechukuliwa, amewekwa ndani hapa Central Police Station. Kufika
haya pengine kwa ajili ya muda
ni haki ya watoto na ni haki ya Wakenya kujua mchezo huu ulikuwa unaongea juu ya nini.
Okay, so you see like there was a demand from citizens. Of course, citizens wanted to watch the play, but it became impossible. Why? Because the students actually were told to be at the venue as early as 6 a.m. in the morning. And when they arrived at the venue, that's Lions, their vehicle was also restrained from getting into the venue, and therefore they could not have the decker and the props and the rest of the aspects required for performance. Now, for a play, this is very controversial and difficult, and students are very sometimes students are routined, by the way, whether they are special needs or not. Students have a routine. And most times, the reason why strikes happen in schools, it's out of very small issues like people failing to understand them, giving them a platform where they can speak, making them understand why they should not, things like drama, sports, music, festivals, and those co-curricular are the ones that bring a lot of strikes in schools, not even academics. It's very rare to find a school whereby they have had a strike as a result of academics. And if they have, maybe students who are lazy and they don't want to study. But when students are restrained, maybe they are not given time for entertainment, they are not given room to perform whatever activities they had, or maybe the principal feels the teacher who is leading the students into an activity should not be supported, and they fail to take them to a certain event because of such a differences, students might strike. And that has been a common issue. Now, I'm just remembering what happened to Girls some few years ago. Because Wasambo Were, may his soul rest in peace, was the innovator of drama festivals. And of course, he told us that after the girls at Tum performed, they went back to school, and when they were at school, teachers were victimizing. You know, there are these teachers who victimize students. They'll tell them you are not good in class and you are just in drama, or you are just in music and you're just in guiding and not guiding actually, but scouts. So such comments then make some students feel like they are being attacked. So radicalization then starts, and of course the personal differences will occur among teachers, a common scenario that is in school. As far as people pretend about teamwork, bonding and all that, the reality is very different on the ground. You will find that teachers who actually are talented, sometimes are not liked a lot by everybody else, including even the administration. So once they are sabotaged or stories come about them and they fail to reach where they are supposed to be, students feel, they are just charged and they may end up into a strike. Now, the situation of Butere, and I don't know whether it's true that people are saying that now BUTERE Girls Dormitory is on fire. I hope not, because from the information, it's clear that the school was escorted away from the venue. About 4 Land Rovers were escorting them back to school. We've seen Eugene Wamalwa sharing that their vehicle, he met it. Was it Eugene Wamalwa or somebody else? I saw somebody else, a leader from Western, talking about having met these people on the road at El Damarabin, going back to Western. So then we see Malala coming out just 2 hours ago after he was released, and I'm just looking for the video to see whether I can share. And then he says, yeah. With absolute clarity. He says something here. Let me just find it. Exactly what to expect and feeling completely confident with everything. Yeah, this is what he said. Let's just see, in 2 hours ago. Is it the one there? Okay. Yeah.
All right. Claire first. Malala, they're addressing. Let's listen in.
Ambao mko hapa leo hii ni siku ya kihistoria. Siku ya kihistoria kwa sababu tukizo ambalo tumeona leo ni tukizo ambalo hatujaliona tangu tupate uhuru sisi kama taifa. Mnavyojua vizuri sana, mimi ni mwandishi wa michezo ya kuigiza. Mchezo huu wa Echoes of Doom ni mchezo wangu wa 82 tangu nizaliwe. Nimeandika michezo 82 na mchezo huu umeaktiwa na shule ya msingi ya BUTERE Girls. Umefuzu kutoka sub county, ilikuwa nambari 1, county ikawa nambari 1, na katika regionals wale adjudicators waliipatia max 90. Na hakuwa na tashwishi yote na mchezo huu. Lakini vile tulirudi shule, yule mkubwa wa shule aliniambia kwamba wale watoto wamesema kwamba imesemekana kwamba hawawezi enda kwenye nationals kwa sababu mchezo huo ni wa siasa na unaharibia viongozi fulani jina na hautaruhusiwa kuperform. Ngamuza, unatoa wapi masuala kama haya na ilhali ni haki ya wanafunzi kuperform?
Okay, so I'll just cut it short and see what
nilifuatilia kupitia region that is free from corruption. Jambo la tatu, hao wanafunzi wanataka ile education system yao iwe education system ambayo inawasaidia. Umeona tuko na shida mingi ya CBC, tuko na shida mingi ya university funding model. Mchezo huo unaangazia Gen Z ambao wanasema kwamba wangependa rais uangazie masuala ya masomo. So shida iko wapi bwana rais? Mpaka unapiga watoto na tear gas. Jana mlitumia live bullets kwa sababu wamefanya mchezo wa kuigiza. Na mchezo huo hawajataja jina lolote. Mchezo huu umewekwa katika setting, fictional setting kule Middle East ambayo inaitwa the Royal Velvet Emirates. Sasa wewe Ruto ulikuwa rais wa Royal Velvet Emirates siku gani? Hawa watoto hawaongei directly juu yako.
We were chased with tear gas. What exactly transpired, because within seconds you were gone?
Ya, nilitolewa katika gari yangu, walipasua kioo moja kwa gari yangu, wakatupa ndani pilipili ambayo ilikuwa pale ndani, so ikaanza kutuchoka. So ilibidi nitoke na wakanishika, wakanipeleka hapa Nakuru, na vile nilisema tukapelekwa katika msituni. Nikatolewa hapa Nakuru police station, nikapelekwa msituni usiku nzima. They didn't harass me. We have a very disciplined police force, by the way, because they didn't harass me. They had the option of beating me up in the wilderness, but they didn't do that. Nikisema kwamba polisi walinipiga, nitakuwa nadanganya. Hao polisi walikuwa wanafuata masharti ya mtu ambao walikuwa wanaongea nao kwenye simu. Na ningependa tu pia kuwasherekea kwa sababu walikuwa na option ya kunimaliza. Hii tukio kwanza ni kusema kwamba hatutaki interference na the political class ama the administrators katika Kenya National Drama Festival. These are festivals that we celebrate. These are festivals that has nurtured some of us. Ningependa kuomba.
Okay, so you heard that. Now, one thing that is again bamboozling me. When it comes to creativity, you cannot force every teacher to be creative, right? We have teachers who are very creative, and that is a talent, of course. And there are those who are not talented, obviously, and may not be able to come up with the aspect as we really saw what happened in the echoes of war. So from the observation of what happened, there are so many questions that people are raising. Among the questions is, should other people outside the school be engaged in activities of the school? And of course, people are raising aspects of the article. Then many began to raise questions. What has been happening? Because so many people who take part even in coaching sports, they are never teachers. Has this been an illegal activity? And if it is, then what will happen from now onwards? They only talk about accompanying. Of course, accompanying is not the same as training. And I'm very sure if it is insisted that they are just the teachers and the students will practice the activities that are expected, there are so many schools which will fall out of these activities because they rely more on external forces than themselves, you know. They don't have the right capacities. Now, sometimes, again, the syllabus does not have space to allow these teachers to even learn these other activities. Some teachers are always in class, out of class, setting exams, marking exams, and they hardly have time. Like, you need a lot of time to create such a play, and again, direct it, and take it to the stage and win. Yeah? It is not about just having someone coming there and then training and then going to stage and letting it be. So when they talk about illegal, because what has been indicated is that Malala has been illegally practicing writing of plays for schools. And so which means so many people have been illegally practicing activities for schools, including so many co-curriculars. Because what I know, when you look at sports, most of the coaches that really lead students to higher levels, most of them are not teachers. Why? Teachers sometimes their schedule runs between 8 to 4. And then they have to plan, they have to teach and teach and teach. The Kenyan curriculum is so poor that it does not give space for maybe 2 hours, just 3 hours, whereby teachers can be doing something else. Yeah, I wish it would be possible. Maybe on specific days, we have specific hours for such activities, whereby students just conduct other on self-directed activities, and maybe teachers are doing the other activities. Like, how do you write now such a play? How do you write a poem? And again, practice with students, and at the same time teach. I'm very sure if somebody is doing that very well, then in class, they are not teaching very well. The same will apply to term 2. We have music festivals coming. Writing is very easy. You can actually write over the holiday, like this April. You may write a given poem, you may write a song, you may actually do all that. But getting all that time to practice with students until they win to the highest level, it needs a lot of sacrifice. And so you find that these other people, maybe directors of groups outside, those who perform like the general plays that we are studying in class, they have more time. They have a lot of time, the whole week. So they can actually enhance practicing of such activities. They can oversee students doing it. And so you find that many schools, they just have teachers escorting or accompanying. They are not actually hands-on in such activities. Now, the question that most people are asking, why were these students tear-gassed? And yesterday, of course, live bullets were used in some cases. We have so many news reporters who were assaulted, and of course, they are in hospital. So I don't know whether you can get another video that is just showing these students running up and down I saw some example somewhere. Let me just check and see whether I can find it. And what do you think about this? This was night. I think this is the one that can actually show.
Hello from Nigeria.
Hello from Ghana.
Salam Nachu from Ethiopia.
Na mtazamaji, nayo tukiangazia taarifa ambayo tumeipa kipaumbele ni
ambapo walitarajiwa kuigiza tamthilia yao ya Echoes of War. Wanafunzi hao walipata mwaliko kuhudhuria mashindano ya mchezo wa kuigiza yanayofanyika jijini Nakuru kuchelewa. Tetesi ni kuwa tamthilia hiyo ilikuwa inaangazia matatizo ya uongozi nchini.
We were harassed by the police. They used us to stage with nothing.
The students were allowed to perform at 8 o'clock. When they came to the stage and after the national anthem, one of them stepped forward and said they are not willing to perform without their director, Mr. Malala.
Shule ya upili ya wasichana ya Butere iliondolewa kwenye orodha ya shule zitakazoshiriki wiki 3 zilizopita. Ila mahakama kuu ikatoa uamuzi wa kubatilisha haya.
Okay, let's check also.
Maafisa wa polisi walinitupia vitoa machozi na kunijeruhi nilipokuwa na peperusha taarifa hiyo mubashara. Wanahabari Robert Maina na Peter Kimani wa Inoro na Standard Group wakijeruhiwa pia na maafisa hao.
Wafungue barabara. Mimi niende.
Malala alikamatwa na kufikishwa katika kituo cha polisi.
Okay, so those are the extremes that we actually saw from the event, and your comments are invited here. More reactions from what has been seen during the day, and at the end of the day, the school has not performed. And of course, the blame has been placed on them again, that they refused to perform, demanding for the director. They have also indicated that the director was illegally practicing training of students, and having been a writer, it was not necessary that he be there for it to be practiced. I don't know what you think about this. You know, students have attachment, especially girl child. They have attachment issues. And when you come to any activity they are conducting, I've dealt with both girls and boys, and girls seem to be very delicate, if I may use that word. So if you are conducting any activity with them, you need to be very careful about anything to do with what they are doing. Because if they trust that that person must be there, there's no way you'll convince them to do it without them. So of course, they'll believe it's their right. It is a must that that person be there for them to do it. And psychologically, of course, they switch off when that person is not there. They understood everything because the arrest was done before their eyes. So there's no way you can convince these girls to go ahead and perform in the absence of their director. That one, forget. Yeah. So I don't know what will be the way forward, but I'm looking at I just said this even yesterday, looking at the current books, The Samaritan, A Parliament of Alls. Yeah. Looking at the previous books that were even done, like, if I can remember, Mstahiki Mea, Kifo Kisimani, and which other? Because the English ones were not very controversial before. Doll's House was a very neutral book. Blossoms of Savannah, of course, was against the circumcision and early marriages and polygamy. But again, somebody has just asked a question. If we are saying the people to participate in co-curricular should not be non-teaching, what about the books that we are studying? Because when you look at the books that we are studying, they are not written by teachers. They are written by people outside it. Paul Vita is a physician, right? He's in physics. John Lara, I don't even know who he is. Sidang is in KICD on curriculum development. He's not a teacher practicing in class. When we look at Clara Momanyi, I'm not quite sure what she does. When I look at, there's another book, Kiswahili, by a lecturer. So if they are indeed saying that activities should be done by teachers, then they should have a way in which They will actually engage teachers even in writing of books that will be studied at high school. And again, they ensure that if we have activities like co-curricular, then they are the teachers and the students who are doing it and practicing, not competing against, like we have some schools who have mercenaries. They have graduated, and every year they hire people from outside, those who are experts in some things, and they come do for them, professionals. So people have known that this is an earning, and it keeps happening. So what changed? Yeah, what actually changed? And of course, Sosian has said they are not politicizing anything to do with the drama. It's just protocol. Now, I'm wondering, what about other plays that were written by such people, but they were not controversial? Because if that is the rule, then it should be that it cuts across. Now, the themes also, who comes up with themes for drama festival? Because the theme of the year was on corruption and development, was it? Yeah, so who came up with such a theme? Because once you come up with such a theme, of course, then I see echoes of wars fitting in very well. And of course, Malala says he fictionalized it to have a northeastern kind of setting. Maybe the only aspect is that he used the words Zakayo and Gen Z. I don't know whether he could have used any other. But the matters to do with the, sensitizing on what has to be done, I think it should start even from the aspect of training people in the national festivals, and let it be an open forum whereby they pick actual teachers to go for those trainings, and they should be cheap enough to allow teachers to go train. And I don't think 3 days is enough to make somebody who has never written something write a play. Very difficult. Unless our system becomes the European system or the USA system, whereby we have networks, teachers coming together, collaborating, writing plays even before, they should be even in place so that we just know such a play will be done. Yeah, there should be a way in which even drama festival, we just know that we have specific place and we want to see which schools will enunciate better. So that even marks for composing can be out, and then we just see on actualization. Then when it comes to poems now, that's where composition can be and all that, I think that should be the way forward to ease these matters. I've taken a lot of your time, but I'm grateful for those who came live. The matter was too heavy and controversial, but I think we've talked about it. If you have any thoughts about what's going on, any comments, you are free to make your contribution. Bye-bye for now.